Hey everyone, James here from JVC Paints. I have got a first for the channel today. It is a video solely about 40K. I know, right? Like, what's going on? So, I'll tell you. Recently I bought a 3D printer and I haven't set it up yet, and I've been trying to make space here in the room. So I found some of my old cases and I found these guys in there. And these are some orcs I painted maybe 12, 13, 14 years ago. Around the same time I won the Golden Demon here in Japan. So I thought I would show them off and chat a bit about them. And yeah, let's take a look at the boys. 12, 13 years ago when I painted these guys, I was totally into painting orc flesh. This is how I did it. I was using a dark green, probably an orc flesh, I think is the GW color. I was using a color called Hauser Dark Green. The first highlight was basically that and a bit of a mix of a lighter Hauser green, which is basically a green with more cream and more yellow in it. And I would just bring it up until I was basically that final color. Then I'd give all the flesh a sort of a yellow glaze of paint wash. And then when that was dry, I'd give it one of green. Green wash of the base color, and then when all that was totally dry, I'd go over all the great details, and these figures are amazing for detail. I would go over it again with the final highlight color. The other colors you can see on these boys are the uniforms, gray and the black. So let's start with the black. The black is just basically black, and I highlighted it up with blue. You can see it on the leather, on the one on the right, his helmet, and on the boots. The gray of the uniforms, basically it was a kind of a dark gray, mixed in with some cream, brought it up to a highlight, gave it a black wash, went over it with the final highlight again. The browns are basically dark brown, brought up with snake bite leather. And the rust, I was kind of doing it rust at this time, so you can see the rust on the one guy on the plates and on his helmet. That's just basically a lot of orange paint with sort of like a maroon as a base. The teeth were probably snake bite leather, and then I brought them up with white, and the eyes I just did in red, maybe with a little bit of orange dots and stuff like that. And the guns I was just doing, I guess it was in bolt gun metal. Yeah, that's how I did basically the uniform of all of these figures. These two figures are probably my favorite figures out of this whole mob that I found in the case. We've got the guy on the right with the German helmet with the big spike on it, the pickle helm. He's going to whip that grenade, and we got the boss on the left. The guy on the right, the little spike on his helmet there, I'm pretty sure it's a spearhead from the Skeletons from Warhammer Fantasy. The war boss on the left there. The two axes, these guys are the blood axes. I think that was their name. I never played these guys, so apologies if I'm messing up the lore here. But those two axes were basically, I think they're the dwarf axes that I had. I tied them together with wire and built up as sort of a back pole. But yeah, there's a lot of character on these guys. I really enjoyed painting these two guys, specifically these two guys. Now these next guys here are these heavy weapon kind of guys. The three on the right are metal. The one on the left is plastic. I never finished his base, and those sandbags are bugging me now. But the ones on the right there, they didn't come with the Battle of McRage set. I actually bought these guys in a blister pack. Painted them up. They were quite fun to do. They're metal, so I'm kind of worried about chipping them or whatever. But yeah, I followed the same pattern that I did with the other figures, and you can see here. Coming up on the obverse on the back of these guys, what I've done is I've followed the same sort of pattern. I've kept a camo pattern on these guys, which was a kind of like an urban desert storm, first desert storm urban camo, where I've used black and blue and then little white dots for the little rocks. So an homage to the war in 1991. Here you're going to see the sort of backbone, I guess, of any orc army. These are the guys with just the hand weapons and the sort of pistols, I guess the bolt pistols. I don't know what they're called. I've never played orcs, right? So I don't know. I just painted them, right? The guy on the extreme left, I converted him to make him like he was running, and I put that skull on top, where he had a sort of like a top knot. I've also used a lot of the fantasy orc weapons as well, and I thought that sort of made them a little bit more orky in a way. Now, these next couple of guys, I also did some conversions. You can see the guy in the center there. He's got his foot raised like he's stomping around. I put a boot tread on there with some putty. Then there's the guy on the right who's being flamed. So I was trying to make fire. There was an orc skull. I thought, oh, this would be kind of cool. A little bit of an experimentation. It looks kind of weird now, but this is how you get better. You can also see I've endeavored to do sort of the little laser scopes underneath the barrels of their weapons. You can see here the guy in the center, he's been converted. You can make out maybe the boot tread on the one foot that's raised up. I was big into doing rust and blood, I guess, and stuff like that on the weapons, but you can see the rust on the metal plate still and on the helmets. You can see the scraped metal on the chainsword on the one guy on the right, and also converted his bolt pistol a little bit just to tweak it to make it look a little bit more orky, a little bit more weird and unique. Here I've used some more fantasy bits for these orcs. The head of the guy in the center there is a fantasy orc head. The basing, I went for real basic stuff, just sort of like a Martian service, like a reddy brown kind of earth soil, just to more highlight the gray and the green. I thought it was a nice compliment. Here are the back plates of these guys. I think I mentioned earlier that I made them, I think they're the blood axes or the death axes. I don't remember. When I played 40k a long time ago with the Evil Suns and the Bad Moons and Snake Bites and all that stuff, I don't know if 40k still does that. I haven't played 40k in years, but I endeavored to put the mark on all of the back plates that I could. You can see the rust marks on the bolts holding it to the webbing. Yeah, a lot of fun to paint these guys. I don't know if I'll ever play 40k again. I kind of doubt it, but I really, really enjoyed painting the orcs. And I think it shows. And I think it also shows that my skills were a bit better and my eyes were a bit better, you know, a decade or so ago. Here's sort of a group shot of these guys attacking some vintage squats that I have. You can see more of the back plates. I've got a whole other mob of these guys from the same Battle of McCrage that are kind of in a more deserty, yellowy orange, kind of like an Africa core color that I gotta find. I gotta see what I'm gonna do with this 3D printer I got. So, anyways, guys, so maybe there'll be some more orcs in the future. I will show the figure in that video when I find those guys that I won the Golden Demon with, so many, many moons ago. So, hey, guys, thanks for watching. Keep those brushes moving, and we'll catch you in the next one. And if I don't see you, I will miss you. Take care, and bye-bye.